status quo is preferable to opposition to these values. These values are so unquestioned that obedience is not considered political, but instead apolitical, whereas only opposition to these values is considered political. This,
What?
of course,
Yeah, exactly. How he keeps framing it as obedience.
Well, okay. This is the problem. This is like idiot's movie interpretation. Because Forrest Gump never questions anything, because his character literally has an intellectual disability.
No, he's got an IQ of 75. They say it in the movie.
He assumes that means that the message of the movie is you shouldn't question anything. Because the main character has a fucking intellectual disability and doesn't question. Like, what fucking nonsense is this? What craziness is this?
Yeah, I think the message of the movie is that you can succeed even if you're a Riri. Like, seriously.
The message of the movie, beyond the fact that it's just this American tall tale, the message of the movie to me seems to be that the world is chaotic and cruel and dark. And if you have a positive attitude,
totally,
you put your head down and you push through, you can come out on the other side. And not only can you inspire people around you, because that's what Forrest does. He inspires everyone around him to be better.
Yes.
But you can come out on the other side and be happy. And see, it's funny because I agree to some extent that this movie is not liberal, but anti-leftist propaganda, because leftists, the whole like tear it down revolution idea is the world is a mess and you need to tear it all down and reconstruct it to make it a utopia. So if you make a movie that says the world is a mess and you got to just power through by being the best person you can be, I guess that is anti-leftist propaganda.
And leftists you're thinking of as anti-capitalist, anti-system.
I'm thinking of anti-system, anti-system, socialist, anarchist, that crap.
Anarchy sucks.
Yep.
Of course, is nonsense, but that is the beauty of the status quo. Something normal and expected has the best.
So wait a minute.
Status quo is like a curse word for progressives.
He literally shows. Yeah, it is. He literally shows a clip from the movie that proves him wrong. Okay.
Only opposition to these values is considered political. This, of course, is nonsense, but that is the beauty of the status quo. Something.
So if you remember, in the beginning of the movie, he says his mom named him Forrest Gump after the KKK guy.
Yeah, the racist.
Who's named Forrest something. And she says the reason that she named him that was to realize that people do stupid shit sometimes.
Yeah, totally.
Okay. So he's talking about how the movie maintains the idea that you should always follow the status quo when the main character is named after a character being racist and maintaining a terrible status quo. And the mother literally explains that's the reason she named the fucking character Forrest, to remind him that sometimes the racist status quo is bad.
And Sitch, he would have just had to watch the first 5 minutes of the movie to get this, because it's in the fucking first 5 minutes.
Jesus Christ.
Normal and expected has the benefit of being unquestioned, and therefore natural. Nothing that upsets the order of things. Disobedience is considered radical and unwelcome. Something that is frequently asserted.
See, Forrest Gump is the ultimate centrist movie. That's why he hates it, because it just shows everyone sucks.
It does, basically. They have the Antifa type beating up Jenny, and he freaks out about it.
Yep.
In this 1994 film, Gump, played by Tom Hanks, drifts through modern American history. As a youth, he forms a friendship with a young girl named Jenny, who he knows his whole life. Gump is a little slow on the uptake, but his trust in others and obedience take him far in life. Gump is an exceptional footballer.
I love how he's so focused on the obedience. Gump he's just so obedient. He just needs to rebel.
Nobody's forcing him to do this stuff, though. People are helping him out. People are offering advice, giving him opportunities. He's just taking those opportunities.
Right. It's funny because, like, I'm sure there's been some person who's written an article about how, like, Forrest Gump is the perfect Zen character because he just completely moves with the flow at all times, just kind of completely goes on his own, has no, intentions of his own. He's just like the leaf in the river.
He is, definitely.
Just always floating forward, going with the current, never fighting. But that is obedience. That is the enemy.
If the character was going, no, Mom, I don't want to go to this private school, and she's like, no, you're going to go. I slept with the principal so you could go. Then we'd be having a conversation about this. But come on. He's like, okay, thanks.
Football player, even if he needs to be told when to stop.
Oh, wait, here's
His
the obedient part. They do make him stop. Like, he doesn't want to stop it. Like, be obedient. Stop, for heaven's sakes. You already won.
Athleticism grants him a football scholarship, and he graduates college. He is recruited to join the military, something he does on a whim. His obedience makes him an excellent private, and his trust in Jenny has him run away when his platoon is attacked by the North Vietnamese. Once safe, he is able to run back and rescue his platoon. Gump discovers that he's...
See, but wait a minute.
Yeah, they left the part out where those years of saying the pledge is why he went back and saved his mates.
Well, but also this is counter to his point, because he's like, Forrest Gump is just an obedient slave. That's what makes him a good army private.
Oh, you're right.
But then he says he runs away because he remembers the line of Jenny saying, like, run, Forrest, or whatever the fuck she says. She says, run away when you're in the trouble. I don't remember exactly. And so he runs away from danger. He's literally fleeing from battle.
It's better than that. It's way better than that.
And then the only reason I think the only reason he turns back is because he just happens to stumble upon Lieutenant Dan or someone else who just tells him to go save the other people.
He runs back. He saves everyone. Lieutenant Dan is on the phone calling in the airstrike. And he betrays Lieutenant Dan's orders and rescues Lieutenant Dan.
You're right.
He also betrays Lieutenant Dan's orders and goes back in and gets Bubba.
Yep.
Like, what the fuck are you talking about being obedient?
Yep. Yeah, but see, he's being obedient to Jenny. So he's always being obedient to someone, Adam.
Disobedience. Okay. Oh, so he's like, this guy's a simp. He's being too obedient to the woman in his life. No.
Adam, if two people tell you something and you listen to one of them and disregard the other one, that means you're an obedient slave.
Oh, I gotcha.
Yeah. That's how it works.
That he's a prodigy at ping pong, the repetition being completely natural to him. This success allows him to buy a boat and start a shrimping business. Gump's reliance on obedience, repetition, acceptance of the status quo, and a complete lack of interest in upsetting the status quo eventually leads him to becoming a millionaire and an American hero. In contrast,
how is it obedience? I don't understand how it's obedience. He made an oath to Bubba, and he kept that loyalty oath. Like, how is that obedience? Like,
he was obedient to his dying friend's oath, Adam. Jeez.
Are staying true to your oath, is that bad? Is that obedience?
That is blind obedience, Adam. Blind obedience.
What is this guy talking about?
This is so fucked up.
Joins the New Left, associates with the Black Panthers, protests the war in Vietnam, participates in the counterculture of the time, leads a miserable life full of hardship, disease, and eventually an early death. Jenny is a radical, disobedient to American values. There are only 2 times when Jenny is truly happy. First, whenever she is with Forrest. He represents stability, obedience, the status quo, American values.
Oh my God. So wait a minute.
First of all, this is obedience.
Obedience. This is total bullshit, because he's like, Jenny, who joins the New Left, the far left at the time, and she, you keep showing that her life is terrible, right? She has an abusive boyfriend, she does drugs, she tries to kill herself, she gets AIDS and dies and all this other terrible stuff. It's like, therefore the movie is saying that being in the left is bad. Except, did we forget about the other second character in the movie? What was his name? What was that guy's name who's like the other most seen character in the movie? Lieutenant fucking Dan, the guy who's the literal opposite of Jenny, whose entire family is like, we all joined the military, we all died serving for our country.
Totally.
And he goes and he does all that stuff and he loses his legs and his life becomes a fucking disastrous mess. And the only thing that just like Jenny, the only time that he finds stability is through Forrest Gump.
Yeah, totally. Attitude is everything.
Right. But see, this is why this is so bullshit. Because Lieutenant Dan's character completely destroys this narrative.
Totally.
Forrest Gump is saying that only the left is bad. You should follow the status quo. It's like, no, it's not. Forrest Gump doesn't represent the status quo. It's as you said, he represents the attitude.
Lieutenant Dan is pissed at Forrest Gump because he actually saved him. He's like, I was supposed to die there. I was supposed to die a hero.
Yeah, he says you took my destiny from
You
me.
got my medal. Yeah, he's super pissed. Yeah,
you stole my destiny, and the character of Forrest Gump is the guy who's just saying, just go.
Yeah, make your own destiny.
Yeah, you just make your own destiny. You just move forward. You're just always going. Okay, you don't. I guess this is the problem, that this is what I talk about, where it's important on an individual level for you to have the pull yourself up by your bootstraps attitude, even if that doesn't make sense on a societal level. And it's the same thing with Forrest Gump. Not every, this is what pissed me off about some people with the film analysis. Not every movie is a grand analysis of society. Okay. Not every movie is this grand analysis of like,
well, Step Brothers is. I don't know if you've seen that.
There you go. Step Brothers is, yeah. Yeah. Not every movie is like, this is the way society should be. Some movies are focused on individual people and individual attitudes and individual motivations. And when you have a movie that's about the historic events that already fucking happened, and it's just about a guy experiencing them, it's just about his experience and his attitude and him just going forward.
Most movies are about triumph over adversity, though. That's like the central core. You don't have a movie unless you have a protagonist that wants something and is having trouble getting it. So,
but that's what's
over
unique.
Adversity is everything.
Well, so there is one, with the exception of wanting to be with Jenny, right? Mm-hmm. But he's not really acting towards that goal. No. And Forrest Gump is sort of unique in that it doesn't follow that same standard structure, because his character, for the most part, doesn't want anything specific.
Yeah, true. Yeah, it does break that mold, but it's a part of the DNA of the movie, though, because like obviously they set up the protagonist as having every adversity, so it is already at some level. Yeah, exactly. He's got the bad doctor that sets him up with the leg braces he doesn't even need. It's like, that's a jab at authority right there, guy.
Right. But then see, the leg braces, probably because they strengthened his legs up so much, and that's why he could run so fast when he got older.
No, I thought, maybe so. Yeah, you're right.
It was like weight training.
He had bad doctor.
Yeah, so it's another example of Forrest Gump is able to turn adversity into strength by by not complaining about it, and just by moving forward and just using it to his advantage.
Yeah, totally.
The film shows us this leads to happiness, and it also means Forrest represents what Jenny is battling. Jenny drifts in and out of Forrest's life, checking in on each other but never staying together for long. Second, Jenny...
And also, this is so... He completely cuts out, like, when I watched this movie growing up, okay, I never viewed Jenny as like, Jenny's life is bad because she's on the left. I always viewed like, Jenny's life is bad because she had a terribly abusive childhood.
Yeah, exactly. And it, victim of circumstance.
Yeah, exactly. And oftentimes when people have very abusive family situations and abusive childhood, it warps their view of how relationships should be. And thus, when they move forward and as they get older and they have relationships of their own, they're more willing to accept abusive people in their life because they think that's the way relationships are, because that's what their experience was as a kid.
Which side of the political spectrum believes that victims of circumstances are never to blame?
The left.
Yeah, it's very much this movie. Like, I don't know how you can't see it through that it's more left than it is right. Like, it's not singing the praises of the right at all.
I mean, I don't see this movie singing the praises of any political side.
I think it is a little bit on the left. Definitely.
Well, I mean, it's a little bit on the left in terms of like Hollywood movies are generally on the left to some degree. You know?
Yeah, totally. That's the only thing that I'm saying. Like, movies are swimming in the leftist philosophy.
Right.
Yeah. This movie is an anti-racist movie all the way. You can't say it's not.
No, but you see, they showed the Black Panthers in a negative light and the Antifa guy in a negative light. So therefore, the movie must not be leftist.
That's just like one throwaway scene. Like, it's so tiny.
But that one scene is like the whole movie, Adam.
For this guy, yeah, definitely. Not really, though. They don't even really make a political statement on the Black Panthers or anything.
No. It's just something that happens.
It's just to show that he met the Black Panthers, really.
Right, because again, he doesn't understand that the point of the movie and the story was just, I want to have a character move through American life and experience all the things that were happening.
Everything.
So like,
yeah.
So everything is sort of contrived. Like, yes, it's contrived that Jenny is just going to happen to know this guy that knows the Black Panther, just so Forrest can just wander into this situation, just because like that's something that happened.
Yep.
She finally accepts a traditional lifestyle. She has a job as a waitress in a diner. What could be more American? She has a roof over her head and a child fathered by Forrest unbeknownst to him. Only...
Yeah, she's a single mom. What could be more American? What could be more traditional values? And she's a single mom waitress. Of course, that's American values. That's oh wait, that's left. That's progressive values. Oh, never mind. Sorry. I thought this movie was like a conservative movie.
This was a conservative Forrest Gump, a conservative wet dream.